I'm going to record. Okay, so I got to figure out my screen share thing too. Share. I made this beautiful PowerPoint. Now I got to figure out how to work it. Okay. Okay. So adding value to your social media. I kind of got this idea because we were talking about it with just like coronavirus, and I did my first Bible journaling yesterday, finally, that I wanted to do for like a year. And it just really made me realize the purpose I want to have in social media and our job as coaches. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to review a couple Instagram basics. I'm going to define adding value. I'm going to talk about how we can add value, example ideas, utilizing hashtags, and I have a call to action at the end. So this is just an example of my Instagram. So Brianna Mueller, I talk about I'm a wife, an ag teacher, a farmer, and a Jesus lover. So that's kind of like my quick thing that you learn about me right away. You see 5 a.m. workout warrior, so people can expect to see me working out early. Certified hype girl, I have that on there because I want people to know that I'm going to root for them and stuff. And then I clearly say I'm here to build your self-confidence. And so the biggest thing is, what does your bio say about you? These are the things that people can expect to see on your Instagram page. And so this is what you want to emphasize, or maybe what you're talking about. So it might be that you are a healthcare worker, a teacher, a stay-at-home mom, or a student, or whatever it may be, but you want it to be clear on what they're going to get when they come to your page. Highlights, that's not something you can see on here, but highlights are something I have been trying to focus on improving a little more, because my thought is, okay, what if someone comes to me and they follow me a year from now? What is information I've posted in the past that I want them to see? So a couple of my highlights, one is literally called Jesus. It's kind of any of my quotes that I post or scripture that I post. I have a teacher life one. I have recipes, farm life, meal prep, transformations, books to read, and coaching. And I kind of add them as I realize, like, oh, I've been posting a lot about this lately, or I've been posting a lot about that lately. And it's nice to have highlights that people could go to if they start following you after time. And the other thing, like if people message me and say like, hey, I'd like to learn, or do you have some recipes you can send me? Or can you send me a transformation photo from this program you did? I can clearly and easily direct them to my highlights, so that I don't have to type out every recipe or say, you know, here's a link to my IGTV and here's this and here's that. I can simply have it there. Or if people are looking for book recommendations, I'll tell them, hey, go to my profile and look at my book list in my highlights. And this just kind of helps filter those and keep them relevant for people to see. So that's just a couple simple Instagram things. I like to keep it clear, concise, and simple to follow. Okay. So what does it mean to add value to your social media and for your followers? So essentially what adding value means is that they are benefiting from following you, and they are gaining something from your page. So as sad as it is, the coronavirus stuff has just really made me realize kind of like I don't know if you want to say the selfishness in our society, in our community, but a lot of people, right, it's kind of one for all and all for one. You know, getting all the diapers, the formula, the toilet paper, all that madness is, it doesn't really matter who else needs it, but it's what I can get out of it. So when I think about that, I think of common things that people want to know about, right? People want to have recipes. People want to feel inspired. People want to feel and learn new things, right? And so I want to know, when someone is scrolling through Instagram, do they look at my posts and my caption and do they say like, okay, I needed to hear that, or that added something to my life? Or are they looking and saying like, meh, don't really need that, or like that didn't do anything for me. And so that's essentially what adding value means, is that followers benefit from you. Okay. I did a little research, mostly because they had this cool page on Canvas or Canva, and I wanted to incorporate it because it was cute. But 78% of social media users want brands who are helpful. And so it went into that more about, they don't want brands that just have cute clothes. They don't want brands who just have really nice, I don't know, pens. They don't want people who just have nice things. They want brands who are helpful and who are beneficial to their lives, even inside and outside of purchasing things, right? We know as coaches that not every single human being that follows us is going to sign up with us, and that's okay. A lot of people already have Beachbody, or a lot of people already have a workout plan, or maybe they're just not ready, but it is our job to be helpful and to serve those people still. So how do we do it? How do we create value? These are kind of three things I look at. I think of, can my followers learn something? So try things that help them learn, right? Recipes, hacks, ideas, books, suggestions, personal development, podcasts. I mean, it is unending the amount of things that we can learn from each other. Stuff about your industry that people have no idea about, right? Like, there are so many things I learn on Instagram from other teachers. I learn different lesson ideas, classroom management, other people in your career paths. And then my second thing is, can they relate to it, right? Are you talking about things other people can relate to? They might be tough topics, but they may need to be talked about. I should have pulled the quote, but there's a quote that talks about, I wish I would have wrote it down, or I have it. It just isn't currently here. It is something about the story of your lows and your struggles may become someone's survival guide. So you think of all the hard times you're going through. I think of all the fear and the chaos surrounding coronavirus. I think of the troubles you've had maybe with deaths in the family, or illnesses, or struggles with your relationships, or whatever it may be. Can people relate to it, right? I talk about being busy a lot. I talk about anxiety, being overwhelmed. Are these things other people can relate to? And some of them might be tough, right? Like some of them are really difficult, talking about, I'm trying to think, like religion, or talking about, I'm like scrolling through my Instagram to like peak my ideas of some of the truth bombs I've talked about, right? I've talked about my story, and how I got started working out is actually because a little kid asked me if I was pregnant. So I joke about all the time, like the whole, we look at people and we judge them and we say like, are they pregnant or are they fat? And like, that is how like my journey started, because a little kid asked me if I was pregnant, and that kind of rocked my world. I talk about marriage. I talk about a lot of different things that people can relate to, right? Being a teacher. And my third thing is, can they interact? This is something I still struggle with, because I find it difficult to post things to increase interaction, but is it a post that will create a conversation or an interaction? And can you have a discussion or engagement on the post? So maybe that's adding a question to the end. I want to look at my content, and my goal is to look at the insights and see that someone sent it to someone else, because that is mean I'm adding value. If they are willing to either post it on their story or send it to another person, then that means I have done my job and I have created something they're interacting with and sharing. And that's how I know it's successful. Do you know how to look at your insights and see that kind of stuff, Jess? Okay. So if you go to your Instagram post, there's like a little tab that on the bottom, when you're on your post, it says view insights. It's in blue right across from the promote button. So you click on a post and then it says view insights right before like the heart, the comment, the send button. And when you click on that, it shows you how many people liked it, how many people looked at your profile because of it. And then there's a little like paper airplane looking thing. And that means that someone either posted it to their story or they sent it to someone or whatever that means. And so that's what I look at to see, is my content doing what I want it to do? You can also look at the amount of saved. Like I'm going to compare some of my posts on another slide, but there's a little like saved tab that looks like the ribbon. And if people are saving it, like if I look at my recipes, a lot of people save my recipes. And so then I'm knowing that it is something that's adding value to their life if they're saving it and wanting to come back to it later. Were you able to find it?
You said click on a post and do what? And it's where?
Yep. So if you click on your post, it is right under the photo. Can you see a picture of me? I can't see myself, so I don't know. And then it's like, it says view insights. I don't know. I don't know how to
say that. I don't know how yours has that.
Oh, I have a business Instagram. That's probably why. I have a business Instagram, which it doesn't cost any money or anything. But I have a business one so I can view my insights. And so that's probably what it's at. So that's a good thing to bring up and consider, is having a business one. I don't know. There's not much difference except just like the insights and stuff like that. But yeah. Okay. So these are some ideas we can do to add value. So recipes, right? Post a recipe for a meal, showcase your meal prep. I started doing once a week, I do Instagram TV and literally walk through a recipe. A lot of times it is like, I try to aim for like 3 to 4 minutes. Typically I have everything set out, and then all I have to do is put it into a pan. So I have everything pre-cooked, and if it's a crock pot meal or it's something that's easy to throw together, I pick those ones. And then it's literally a video of me saying, okay, here is my can of beans, and it goes in the crock pot. Here's my cheese, it goes in the crock pot, right? And so I've learned those to be really successful, and it pushed me out of my comfort zone to do Instagram TV, and I've really enjoyed those. Snack ideas are a good one, and showing your morning smoothie and your superfoods is a good one. So adding value doesn't only happen like in our posts, right? Like I do not share pictures of my Shakeology all the time. I don't post pictures of my snacks all the time on my feed, but a lot of times I will post these on my stories, because I've learned actually that I serve two different groups of people. Like there are some people who only watch my stories, and there are some people who really only see my posts. And so I try to serve people in that way. Another idea is our tips and tricks. So maybe it's your health and fitness tips, it's your daily life hacks, right? About how you wake up at 5 a.m. or how you go to work all day long and then you come home and you still push play on your workout. You know, maybe that's showcasing your Energize, showcasing your favorite workout clothes, how you budget, how you do finances, your productivity tips, your planner. I think of people who budget journal, people who do beauty and makeup tips. There are so many things that make us unique, right? That we can showcase and add value to. I think of the farm girls we have in this group, right? Having pictures of our animals and talking about the agricultural facts behind them, because most people don't understand how those products are actually created. And so like I think of Rachel Selke, she started the Monday Morning Moo because she's a dairy farmer. And so every Monday she goes on her story and she walks through different facts about the dairy industry and shows people on her farm real life things going on. And that has been like, I wait for them, and you start to create this want and this need of your content on your page. Like now people know I post recipes once a week. And so they are waiting for those. People know I post videos of my workouts. And if they're not there, I have had people message me and be like, yo, what's going on? Like you haven't posted your video yet. And so tips and tricks in your daily life. Maybe it's your favorite pens, your favorite budgeting system, your planner, whatever. All the feels. So this is one I do a lot because I am an emotional human being and I don't have much of a filter. Like my life is an open book. So I feel comfortable sharing a lot of deep feelings with people. So you can post about your fears, your dreams, your feelings day to day, right? Like I made a post today about how the coronavirus is really difficult for me because I am so busy all the time. And the thought of stopping my work and slowing down and not going to school and not going to my other job and being at home, like Shane and I were stuck at home all weekend because we tried to, social separation or whatever you call it, trying to stay away from people and doing what the CDC is telling us to do. And it was really hard to stay at home and not do anything. It could be your reaction to a quote or an event, right? If you go to a big work conference or you have a big event, or maybe you see a really good quote, your reaction to that. And always your story is a good one to come and revisit because you think you're always gaining new followers. And so your story can be repeated multiple times. Like obviously once a week, I don't post about how I got started in my story, but a lot of my little posts add up to create it. And then lastly, quotes and verses. So share your favorite quote, Bible verses, devotionals, books you're reading, affirmations, coffee cups. Like I think of a lot of us are doing Bar Blend. When I was doing Bar Blend, I probably every few days, whenever I got an affirmation card that really meant a lot to me, I would take a picture with it and I would just write like I was writing in a journal. I would just write what that meant to me in hopes of inspiring other people. I think of coffee cups, right? I have quite a few coffee cup inspiration photos. Like I go to the point of one of my Instagram posts, I literally had a coffee cup and I wrote my own little quote on it and showcased that. Like anything, I'm a big quotes and verses and stuff like that. And so you can always leverage that and share that. So these are some tips or some examples. There are definitely way more out there, but these are just some of the examples I thought of right away. Like I said, they can be done on your stories, Instagram TV, they can be done on your posts and kind of intermixed in there as well. Using hashtags. I just wanted to cover this really quick because Melanie Mitro tells us all the time, you need to use hashtags, you need to use hashtags. And I was always like, I'm not a hashtag lover. Like I don't see the big deal in using hashtags. I think they're hard to follow. I don't look anything up on hashtags. And I don't know how to create them or come up with what I want to do. Well, I decided to start Bible journaling, and I know that there's a lot of other people out there because that is one hashtag I do use and look at. There are a lot of other people looking for content through hashtags. And I learned firsthand this weekend how much of a difference a hashtag can make. And so using hashtags help others find the information they're looking for on the profiles they may not follow already. And so it helps people who are not following you to see your photos. So that picture, I just have an example. So again, this is because I have a business Instagram. I can see my insights for this. So I suggest considering a business Instagram. Nothing's different except you have to be public and then you can see your insights. But you can see here the huge difference when I used hashtags on my Bible journaling, how many more views my photo got. So you can see there on average, I range about 1,000 people see my photos. When you think that over 2,000 people follow me, it kind of puts it into perspective that followers don't mean anything because it's all about who's looking at your photos. And then you can see my Bible journaling photo got over 4,000 views. When I dig deeper into my insights, it tells you exactly where those interactions came from. And so when I look at my insights, it tells me that my post reached, now it's over 4,200, but 3,300 of those, so all my interactions stayed the same, like, they were about 1,000. And so 3,350 of those views on my profile were from my hashtags I use. And that's what really made me understand the impact hashtags have, because I got 3,000 views on my Instagram because I decided to use hashtags. It also tells you, right, how many, so 76% of that 4,000 were not following me. It shows all sorts of stuff about how many people saved your post, how many people sent it. One thing I found out is that you can find hashtags through using best-hashtags.com, and you type in like the hashtag. So I typed in hashtag Bible journaling, and it came up with like 25 hashtags that are most commonly used with that hashtag. And so then all I did was copy and paste it over. I didn't even have to sit there and think about all the hashtags I was going to write out or look it up on my computer, then type it all out. I simply used, or when I did it, I Googled best Bible journaling hashtags to use, and this came up. So as you can see, it dramatically increased my interactions and my viewings. And so I'm really excited. I think as I get more Bible journaling onto my feed, since this is my first one, I think I'll draw a lot more followers that'll follow me looking for that more often. But I was not expecting to see that many more interactions. Okay. So that is my talk about adding value. And so if you have any questions, definitely let me know. If you're watching this on record, you know where to find me, right? You can find me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But my call to action is to create a value added post and use the hashtag. So I actually stole this from Andrea Hansen. But I've been using this hashtag with the coronavirus, and just, it's kind of really shook me to my core. Hashtag fear ain't welcome here. So I use that when talking about my workouts. And I talked about this when I talked about fitness isn't being stronger. Once you conquer stuff, you can get stronger. I talked about it with a lot of different things. And so, I encourage you to I'm going to be on here. We'll probably be on here till 8:15. And so in that time, I hope that you do one on your story or on your posts, or not on your posts. I mean, on your feed, and do, fear ain't welcome here. And I think that's really powerful, because right now, so many people are so chaotic and negative and panicking. Like, I just feel like there's not a lot of positivity going on, and people are forgetting that, like, our nation, like, our world has survived polio. Our nation has survived, like, influenza. They did this 10 years ago. Like, there are a lot of things like this that we have survived. And so the panic is kind of crazy, because we've been through this. Like, obviously, like, my generation, this is the first time we'll ever remember one of these happening, but it's not new. Like, our pastor and our priest this morning talked about, like, he remembers when he couldn't go anywhere because of polio, and they were worried about that. And it's like, that seems like it was so long ago, but we can handle it. So that's kind of my call to action to you, is to create a post. You can tag it with me. I'll share it. I love seeing them. And so, do you have any questions, Jess? Okay, I'm going to stop recording, and then we can chat. Okay. Stop share, and then